Well, my name is Kafabian Fabe Hurd. I go by Fabe. I am the CEO and founder of the Fabe Effect. A little bit about me: I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I grew up, I guess I would call it um, upper lower class, if you want to call it something. We weren't like dirt poor or anything, but we definitely were. We definitely struggled, and I think that's a lot of that is the reason I am the way I am today. In terms of like, I'm frugal, I'm very cognizant of like the money I spend and everything, and because I know how it feels to not have money. My grandmother raised me. My grandmother and my grandfather. My mother, she struggled with addiction all my childhood. So the best thing she did for me and my brothers were give us to our grandmother. My father was living in another city and state. My mother and my father met in college, and so when my mother got pregnant, she left college, and the college was where my father was. And so my father then raised me presently. I definitely knew my father, and I communicated with my father, and I visited my father. He didn't raise me, so I was raised by my grandparents. And early on, I knew that that was not the formula that people, are raised in. I knew that I didn't have a mother or father present. I had a grandmother and a grandfather. And yes, they are mothers and fathers to someone, but they weren't my mother and father. I think my biggest probably struggle growing up was definitely my weight. Um, I did not like what I saw in the mirror, although I was a very charismatic big guy, and I was very, much so confident in front of people. But I definitely struggled in the private of my home about my weight, and it didn't help that my family also would bring it to my attention a lot. I don't think they were trying to hurt me, but they would also bring it up a lot, and so there were times where I didn't want to be around certain family members. I could honestly say, genuinely, I still struggle with my weight. I'm not gonna let it stop me, but it definitely pauses me a lot because I think about what people think when they see me, and I want to be the best version of myself, and I want people to see like what I'm giving coming out of my mouth was coming into their hearts, and not necessarily what I look like. But it's America and it's the world, and we look at each other and we judge each other by what we look like. I would definitely say that it didn't stop me from seeking my purpose, though. It didn't stop me from being what God called me to be, and I'm grateful for that. And I would say what else probably I struggled with growing up was the absence of my mother. I think that to not have a father, unfortunately, is coming, and I didn't ever feel like I didn't have a father. Just my father didn't live where I lived. That's how I always put it in my mind. My father don't live where I live, but my mother did, and so it definitely was a struggle trying to be a big brother to my siblings and be a example to so many people, and then see my mother struggling with this addiction and I can do nothing about it. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do. And sometimes like she would, yeah, this is why I didn't want to go over here. Sometimes she would like come to my grandmother's house and sleep for like 3 days and leave and for like 3 months, and we wouldn't see her. And it was definitely hard trying not to worry about what is going on, where your mother is, and it was hard to not be embarrassed. I think that's what it was. It was I was a Christian, and I wanted to do the Christian thing, but it was so hard not to be embarrassed because your friends see you one way and then they say, oh, and then it's that awkward silence that would kill me the most, because you knew the awkward silence was about you. I had to let that go, and I had to let her go in a sense of not letting her go in my heart, but I had to let her go to God. I had to give her to God. Well, honestly, this has probably been something in my mind and in my heart for probably 10 plus years, I think that I was afraid. I was afraid to believe in myself. I was afraid to really trust my gut and trust my ability and trust my gift. Honestly, I was afraid to trust my purpose. I knew what my purpose was. I knew a long time, and I had developed this position of being behind people and pushing them out front. And that was me serving in my purpose and serving others as well. But God was always telling me, like, you have to take your shot. You have to go out there. And I just always was afraid to fail, and I didn't want to fail. So I definitely took the back seat a lot, and I took the back seat to people's greatness. And I knew that I was great too, but I just was afraid to really put it out there. And now, launching the Fave Effect was kind of like a milestone in my life. I knew that I wanted to go into my new year of life in a place of peace, but in a place of confidence that I know that I'm equipped with the ability to really change people's life. After launching the Fave Effect, I was doing the videos, I was doing motivational quotes on my social media, I was doing life coach sessions with people, and it was really gaining momentum. Of course, not as fast as I wanted to, but they say if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. So I knew that I had to be patient, but I had a dream about this. I really had a dream about 3 more months ago that I had a dream that I was doing a conference. I had a dream that I was speaking to people, and honestly, I didn't see the screens. I didn't see virtually. I saw the conference probably next year. I saw the conference probably in 2 or 3 years. But that was God telling me, trust me with the small things and I'll reveal the big things. So he gave me a glimpse of what the Tap Into Your Purpose conference will be. And so I just jumped out on faith and I said, well, I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to do it virtually. And I'm going to put some people that I know that have been great examples to me and for me, put them out there in the front. And I'm also going to put myself out there, and we're going to do this thing. And so I just went after it. At the beginning of this year, I went through a very hard time. I went through something that many people probably had nightmares of going through, and I went through it and I got through it. And after I went through that thing, I knew that it was now time for me to, one, focus on myself, clean up myself, figure out what I'm doing with my life, and not continue to live through people. I'm excited to see people discover their purpose. I'm excited to see people tap in. I'm excited to see people have that aha moment. And I think that many people will have that moment this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm so excited to see those people walk into their purpose and really live on purpose. Because if you're not living on purpose, why are you living?